Imagine spending your entire life chasing one dream, working every single day since you were a kid, sacrificing everything just to make it to the NBA, and then getting exactly one game. 90 seconds on the floor, maybe less, and then nothing. No second chance, no highlight reel, no legacy. Just a single line in a record book that almost nobody will ever read. Today we are talking about the players who made it to the biggest stage in basketball and then disappeared forever after just one single game. Welcome back to Hoop Nexis, the channel where we dig up the stories the NBA doesn't want you to forget. If you love basketball history, underdog stories, and the players who never got their fair shot, make sure you are subscribed because today's story is one of the most heartbreaking and fascinating corners of NBA history. Every year, thousands of young men dream of hearing their name called on draft night. Only 60 make it, and out of those 60, only a small fraction ever build a real career. But there is a group even smaller than that, a group so tiny that most fans have never even heard of them. These are the players who suited up for exactly one NBA game in their entire lives. One game. That's it. No trades, no 10-day contracts turning into more. No G League grind that eventually pays off. Just one night under the bright lights, and then the door closes forever. Take a player like Ed Colbert, a name that barely shows up in any basketball trivia. Ed Colbert made his only NBA appearance decades ago, coming off the bench for a few minutes, contributing almost nothing on the stat sheet, and never playing again. No injury story made headlines, no dramatic falling out with a coach went public. He simply wasn't brought back, and life moved on. Somewhere out there, Ed Colbert can say he played in the NBA, a claim that 99.9% of basketball players who ever picked up a ball will never be able to make. Yet his name is almost completely erased from basketball memory. Then there are players who got their one shot because of pure chaos. Injuries pile up, a team is short on bodies for one single night, and a player gets called up from nowhere just to fill a roster spot. He puts on the jersey, stands on an NBA court, maybe touches the ball a handful of times, and by the next morning he is back to being just another name in a stack of unemployed professional athletes. These are the emergency signings, the practice squad heroes, the guys who lived out the dream for one single game because of a scheduling nightmare rather than because a team believed in their long-term potential. What makes these stories so gripping is the contrast. On one side you have legends who play 15, 18, 20 years, whose jerseys hang from arena rafters. On the other side you have men who train just as hard, who believe just as much, who work through the same grueling path of high school ball, college recruitment, summer leagues, and international basketball only to get a door that opened for a few minutes and then slammed shut permanently. The talent gap between a career player and a one-game player is often smaller than people assume. Sometimes it comes down to a coach's rotation preference, a front office trying out a body during a blowout, or a single bad matchup on a single unlucky night. Some of these players never even get a real chance to show what they can do. Picture being down by 30 points with 2 minutes left in a game that means nothing in the standings. That is when a rookie or a call-up finally gets his number called. 2 minutes. That is the entire audition. 2 minutes to prove that everything you sacrificed for was worth it. Most players in that situation never get a second look, no matter how well they play, because the game situation makes it almost impossible to stand out. There is also a financial and emotional weight to these stories that fans rarely think about. These men often signed for veteran minimums or 10-day deals, meaning that one single NBA appearance might represent the peak paycheck of their entire athletic career. Many went on to play overseas for years afterward, some coached at the high school or college level, and some walked away from basketball completely, carrying the bittersweet memory of a single NBA appearance for the rest of their lives. Ask any of them and most will tell you the same thing. They wouldn't trade that one game for anything, even knowing it never turned into more. What's interesting is how this phenomenon connects to the larger story of professional sports itself. The NBA is one of the hardest leagues in the world to make, let alone stay in. For every superstar who dominates highlight reels, there are dozens of players who touched greatness for just a moment before fading into obscurity. These one-game wonders are proof of just how thin the margin is between making it and being forgotten, and how brutal the business side of basketball can be behind the glamour we see on television. So next time you're watching a blowout game with 3 minutes left and a random name checks into the box score, pay attention. That player might be living the biggest moment of his entire life right in front of you, and you may be watching the only NBA minutes he will ever get. That's the story of the players who vanished after just one game. A reminder that behind every roster spot is a human being chasing something most of us will never fully understand. If you enjoyed this deep dive, smash that like button, drop a comment with which player's story hit you the hardest, and subscribe to Hoop Nexis for more hidden basketball history you won't find anywhere else. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.